Today, we're making peace with one of Spanish learners' favorite dramas, por and para. These two little words are small, common, and sometimes sneaky. But here's the good news. You do not need to memorize a giant grammar jungle. You need a few strong meaning patterns. Think of it this way. Para points forward, and por looks around or back. Para often answers where to, for whom, or by when. Por often answers why, through where, in exchange for what, or because of what. That simple idea will carry you a long way. Let's make it practical right away. If para had a personality, it would point with a finger toward a destination or goal. If por had a personality, it would wander around with a backpack saying, because of this, through here, in exchange for that. Para is directional. Por is more about cause, path, means, or exchange. Start with movement, because this is one of the clearest contrasts. Para often means toward a destination. Voy para casa means I'm heading home, literally toward home. Por often means through, around, by, or along a place. Camino por la ciudad means I walk around the city or through the city. How do you say I'm going to Madrid for work in Spanish?
Voy a Madrid por trabajo.
Voy a Madrid por trabajo. Here, por trabajo means because of work, due to work, for work-related reasons, not the destination, but the reason. Now compare that with destination. Salgo para Madrid means I'm leaving for Madrid. That's the direction, the end point. So if you want a memory trick, para pulls your sentence toward a target. Por floats around the circumstances. How do you say, we walk through the park in Spanish? Caminamos por el parque. Caminamos por el parque. Nice. Por el parque means through the park, around the park, in that area. If you said para el parque, that would mean toward the park, as a destination, not inside it. That movement contrast helps a lot. Para equals to, toward. Por equals through, around, along, by. One points to the finish line, the other describes the route or surroundings. Now let's move to one of the biggest everyday uses, reason versus purpose. This is the heart of por and para. Por is often the reason, the cause, the motivation. Why did it happen? Por lluvia, because of rain. Por error, by mistake. Por amor, for love. Para is purpose, intended use, the goal. What is it for? Para estudiar, to study. Para niños, for children. Para mejorar, in order to improve. Listen to the contrast. Trabajo por dinero means I work because of money, for money as motivation. Estudio para aprender means I study in order to learn. Cause versus goal, reason versus purpose. How do you say, this gift is for you, in Spanish? Este regalo es para ti. Este regalo es para ti. Exactly. Para ti marks the recipient, the person it is intended for. And here's a useful little note. After a preposition like para or por, yo becomes me, and tu becomes ti. So para mí, for me. Para ti, for you. But there's one famous exception with con, conmigo and contigo. Not our main topic today, but worth knowing so future you can feel clever. Back to reason and purpose. Compare these two. Lo hice por ti means I did it because of you. Maybe inspired by you, maybe for your sake. Lo hice para ti means I did it for you, intended for you, specifically to benefit you. In real life, both can be possible, but they spotlight different meanings. Por ti equals because of you. Para ti equals for you, meant for you. How do you say I'm studying Spanish to travel in Spanish? Estudio español para viajar. Estudio español para viajar. Beautiful. Para viajar gives the goal. If you said por viajar, it would sound like because of traveling, which is a different idea. Now deadlines. This one is friendly and useful. Para often gives a deadline. By, for, due by. La tarea es para el lunes means the homework is for Monday, due Monday. Lo necesito para mañana means I need it for tomorrow, by tomorrow. How do you say I need it for tomorrow in Spanish? Lo necesito para mañana. Lo necesito para mañana. Great. That's a classic para sentence, a time limit, a target date. Por can also appear with time, but not usually for deadlines in this core pattern. Por la mañana means in the morning. Por 3 horas means for 3 hours. So para mañana is a deadline. Por la mañana is a time period. Tiny words, big consequences. Let's do exchange, another super practical use. Por often means in exchange for, in return for, at the price of. Pagué 10 euros por la camiseta. I paid 10 euros for the t-shirt. Thanks for helping is gracias por ayudar. You are thanking someone because of that action. How do you say I paid 20 euros for the book in Spanish? Pagué 20 euros por el libro. Pagué 20 euros por el libro. Exactly. The book is what you got in exchange for the money. So por fits perfectly. A small pronunciation note. Libro, book, not libre. Libre means free, as in available. If you pay 20 euros por el libro, please make sure you're not accidentally buying freedom, unless it's a very dramatic novel. Now recipient, another para favorite. If something is intended for a person, para is usually your friend. Una carta para Ana, a letter for Ana. Un mensaje para ti, a message for you. Este café es para mi hermano. This coffee is for my brother. How do you say the message is for Ana in Spanish? El mensaje es para Ana. El mensaje es para Ana. Good. Recipient, target person, para. Now let's stack some contrasts, because contrasts are where memory gets stronger. Trabajo para una empresa means I work for a company, as in I am employed by that company. Trabajo por una empresa can mean I'm acting on behalf of a company, or because of a company, depending on context. So para often marks affiliation or intended relationship with an employer, while por shifts toward motive or representation. Salí para Barcelona means I left for Barcelona, destination. Salí por la puerta means I went out through the door, path. That's a beautiful, clean contrast. Para the destination, por the route. How do you say she left for Barcelona in Spanish? Salió para Barcelona.
Salió para Barcelona.
And how do you say she went out through the door in Spanish?
Salió por la puerta.
Salió por la puerta. Same verb, different preposition, different mental picture. Here's a shortcut you can keep in your pocket. When you see para, ask, what is the target? A destination, a purpose, a deadline, or a recipient. When you see por, ask, what is the cause, path, exchange, or motive? Let's do a few quick everyday examples in a natural rhythm. Gracias por venir. Thanks for coming. The reason for the thanks is venir. Estudio para el examen. I study for the exam, meaning that's the goal. Paso por tu casa. I pass by your house. Movement through or by a place. Compro flores para mi madre. I buy flowers for my mother. Recipient. Lo hice por amor. I did it for love. Cause or motivation. How do you say thanks for coming in Spanish? Gracias por venir. Gracias por venir. Nice. Por follows because the thanks exist because of that action. How do you say I'm studying for the exam in Spanish? Estudio para el examen. Estudio para el examen. Right. The exam is the goal. Now, one common learner mistake is trying to translate English for directly every time. Don't trust English for. It wears too many hats. In Spanish, split the meaning. If English says for, ask yourself, do I mean because of, in exchange for, through, by? That leans toward por. Or do I mean intended for, in order to, by a deadline, toward? That leans toward para. Another common mistake, using para with prices. Remember, money exchanged for something usually takes por. Pagué 30 euros por la cena, not para la cena, if you mean the price paid in exchange for the dinner. But preparé la cena para mis amigos means I prepared dinner for my friends, because now we're talking about recipient or intended people. One more useful contrast with work. Estudio por placer means I study for pleasure, because I enjoy it. Estudio para mi carrera means I study for my career, with that goal in mind. Por equals motivation. Para equals aim. Let's lock this in with a short story. First, just listen. Mañana salgo para Sevilla por trabajo. Paso por el centro antes de ir al hotel. Compro un regalo para mi amiga Lucía. Pago 15 euros por una caja de dulces. Necesito todo para las 6 de la tarde. Lo hago para verla feliz y también por cariño. Now again, one line at a time. Mañana salgo para Sevilla por trabajo. Tomorrow I leave for Seville for work. Paso por el centro antes de ir al hotel. I go through downtown before going to the hotel. Compro un regalo para mi amiga Lucía. I buy a gift for my friend Lucia. Pago 15 euros por una caja de dulces. I pay 15 euros for a box of sweets. Necesito todo para las 6 de la tarde. I need everything by 6 in the afternoon. Lo hago para verla feliz y también por cariño. I do it to see her happy and also out of affection. That story gives you the whole map. Para Sevilla, destination. Por trabajo, reason. Por el centro, movement through. Para mi amiga, recipient. Por una caja, exchange. Para las 6, deadline. Para verla feliz, purpose. Por cariño, motive. Let's finish with a few fast contrasts you can replay in your head later. Por la calle means along the street or through the street area. Para la calle means toward the street, often a destination direction. Por mi hermano can mean because of my brother, on behalf of my brother, or in place of my brother depending on context. Para mi hermano means for my brother, intended for him. Por 2 horas means for 2 hours, duration. Para 2 personas means for 2 people, intended to serve 2 people. That one is very practical in restaurants. Una mesa para 2, a table for 2, not por 2, unless 2 people are somehow the reason for the table, which sounds like a mystery novel. How do you say a table for 2 in Spanish?
Una mesa para 2.
Una mesa para 2. Perfect. So here's your recap. Para usually points ahead. Destination, purpose, deadline, recipient. Por usually explains the surrounding reason or route. Cause, movement through, exchange, motive. If you're unsure, ask yourself one quick question. Am I talking about the target or the circumstance? Target often gives you para. Circumstance often gives you por. And don't worry if you still hesitate sometimes. Native speakers learned this through tons of repetition too. What matters is that now you have a meaning-based map, not a random list. That is huge. Keep listening for these patterns in real Spanish and you'll start to feel them instead of translating them. You're doing something smart here, building instinct, not just memorizing rules. Poco a poco, little by little, this gets easier. And yes, por and para may still try to be dramatic now and then, but now you know their personalities. That means you're already winning.